Well, good evening. If you're here, I'm here a little early to get things set up and see how everything will go here. There we are. All right, so we are broadcasting live. Now we've got about 3 minutes until we get started. So if you're joining me, just hold on. I'll get started at 9 o'clock. I'm going to go and grab another drink of tea, and I'll be right back. Okay, we've got a few more minutes, just a few more seconds probably, before we get going here, and we'll see how it goes. Should be just a couple seconds. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's having a good night. Hope everyone is living free wherever you are. And here it is, 9 o'clock. Welcome to Buckwheat Farms. Tonight is Middle Georgia Agora, isn't it? It's Middle Georgia Agora, our fireside chat on Saturday nights. And of course, we're not fireside for a couple of reasons. The first reason is because of the rains that we've had. Our ground and everything on the fire pit is so saturated that there's probably no way I'd ever get a fire started. And the rain, I mean, we haven't had like France type rain, where they got like, what was it, 4 feet of rain in a day or something like that. It was just incredible amount of rain. But we have had there's flooding. There's roads out around here. There's a lot of flooding going on. And so that brings the second cause. And if you check the videos out down below, and you'll see Saturday's squeeze, and you'll understand my aquaponics system totally collapsed because of the rain, but we got everything put back together. My wife, bless her heart, cleaned all those fish, and there were 22 fish, I believe, that were cleaned, and we still got 6 in the aquaponics that we saved, and we got everything put back together. And so that was pretty time consuming and a lot of effort, and I'm pretty much worn out from it. But I did want to do, and keep doing this on Saturday nights and doing a live presentation. And if you're wondering about the Let's Go Brandon name, if you're not familiar with what went on, there was a NASCAR race. At the end of the NASCAR race, the guy by the name of Brandon, and I'm not a NASCAR fan, so I don't know his last name, he won the race. And as they were interviewing him, the chant that's not only there, but at a lot of NCAA football games and fuck Joe Biden began. And so the reporter tried to play it off as a Let's Go Brandon. Listen to what they're saying. And it's really hilarious because it was obvious that wasn't what was being said. And so with that, I want to And I hope you guys can't see this fly, this buzzing around here. Yeah, you can see it. That's wild. Anyway, because this is my farm office, so there are flies in here. We'll just have to deal with it. But that is pretty much, and unless someone says, makes the assumption that I'm a Trump fan, fuck Donald Trump as well, and basically fuck all politicians. But the fornication that I want to talk about is not on the national level, because as much as things on the national level affect us, there's an old saying that all politics are local. And that's where it really begins, because a lot of people who'll say, I don't vote in the presidential elections. I don't care who's president. I don't care who's doing this. But when it comes to their local politicians, they're pretty much got their heads right up their butts. Oh yeah, my guy is the best guy. Well, they're all the oligarchs, and their oligarchs have this mindset pretty much summed up by Marie Antoinette's "let them eat cake." So the let them eat cake moment for our local oligarch, the mayor of Bibb County. We're a consolidated county now, and again, that's a whole nother rigmarole that came about. But he came out a few weeks ago with this idea. There's an abandoned mall in the southwest part of town. Not really, it's probably an older part of town, more minority, lower income kind of, but the mall it's pretty much empty. There's a real one of these huge buffets in there, and there are a couple of other little outlet stores in there, and that's not a lot in the mall. It's been empty for quite a while, because everyone's moved to what we've called for 10 years now the new mall. That's one of those local things where people talk about. We call it the new mall, even though it's been there for 10 years. And so his plan and his idea, the mall was donated, and here again, this is another issue here when they talk about donating the property. I guarantee you that the owners of that mall did not just give that property. There's some quid pro quo there. If nothing else, they'll get a huge tax write-off for donating the property. But so they've got this mall, and the mayor has come up with this wondrous plan of making an auditorium there for music and pickleball courts and restaurants and all this. And the thing is, when he had the news conference, he said, because he lives in that part of town, he's from that part of town, he says, I'm really tired of having to drive to the north side of town or drive to Warner Robins in order to find a place to eat, and I want to bring restaurants and entertainments here. Now, what could be more of an oligarchic, a statement that just pinpoints the whole problem with oligarchy than that? I want this to happen for me. I'm inconvenienced by having to drive to another part of town to find a restaurant or another city. I'm inconvenienced. So what I want to do is I want to take the full force of government to fix a problem that doesn't exist. Now, if the market wants to turn that mall into something, the market will do so. And again, there's so many layers of bureaucracy that are built into these things where it makes it profitable for companies just to open up these properties and lease them out for X number of years and then abandon them. We have it all over the city here. You probably have it all over your city as well. And again, that's part of that bureaucracy. But the audacity for this guy to say, basically, you don't know how to spend your freaking money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend it for you to do something that I want. And that pretty much sums up the oligarchy, that they have this concept that first of all, that it's not all your money, that some of what you produce belongs to them for no other reason than they are. They're in an office. They were elected. Don't get me started on voting. I consider voting the worst form of mob violence there is. But anyway, so this Jackaloon, and I know the guy. In fact, he was on my first little league baseball team, and he was a and this tells you a lot about him. He was a personal injury attorney, and I know I'm disparaging attorneys a little bit. Not all attorneys are, but most are. Pretty much jackaloons. So anyway, this guy says basically, we're gonna do this, and talks about all this money that's being raised, and then now he says we're gonna do it with a SPLOST, which SPLOST is special purpose local option sales tax. And I have to be careful how I put that out, because I call it a splosh, like a turd dropping into a damn toilet, because that's really what it is. It's a splosh. It's crap that just drops out. And so, but the problem is the last splosh that they had, there are some projects at the Macon City Auditorium, and again, a building controlled by the city, not private entity, where they were going to build this atrium, this glass atrium, this beautiful glass atrium, and now they're having to scale it back because they didn't get the funds in that they expected on the last splosh, or that they projected. Now, this again is not the problem, not the issue of the citizenry. It's not the issue of the everyday Joe. It's a government issue, because the reason that the tax monies didn't come in was because the city government instituted all this mask ordinances and lockdown bullshit that put a lot of businesses out of business and curtailed. The retail here in downtown Macon probably was cut 50 to 75%. And so all of those tax dollars, and again, taxing, a sales tax is the most regressive form of tax there is. A sales tax unequally, it affects lower income people at a much worse than it does somewhere in a higher income bracket, because again, you're making more individual purchases. And so the regressive nature of this sales tax, and they always sell it with this idea that the people coming in from out of town, and visiting will pay it. Well, hell, you shut everything down. People aren't coming in from out of town. No one's coming in to do business here because, they're all at home with their mask on, and they, and getting food delivered from the Kroger and Amazon. So not only does this jackaloon expect us to pay for something, so his thing is, I'm tired of not being able to go to a restaurant here locally. I want to be able to go to a restaurant near my house. How disconnected can you be? People are suffering, and all this stuff is going on, and they promote this as it will help the community. The only people that it will help are the business owners. And again, what they'll do, they do it every time. They did it with Amazon. We have a big Amazon consignment center, not consignment, assignment center. What do they call those? Shipping center, whatever, where they ship all their orders out of here. And they cut them deals on their infrastructure. They cut them deals on hooking up things. They cut them deals with the land. They cut them deals on the taxes. If I, as an individual, were to try to initiate a business here, I don't get those same breaks. And again, this is what we're looking at. This is what we're talking about. Is stinking a fascism, where this marriage, this intimacy between government and the crony corporations, to the detriment of the individual. So here's this jackaloon saying all these things that that he's again projecting. We'll put these pickleball. I didn't ask for a damn pickleball court, and I guarantee if you ask the people that live in that area whether they would like to have a pickleball court and some restaurants and the music venue and all that, or they would like to have the money in their pocket, 99% of them would say, I don't want to have the money in my pocket. If you were to ask them, do we want this glass atrium built on the auditorium paid for with my money? And again, not that I have a choice in it, because once you elect these guys, and see, this is a problem with voting. You abrogate your autonomy. You give it to them. You say, I'm not capable of making my own decisions, and I'm afraid that the decisions I make will be wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to elect someone to make those decisions for me. And this is why, everyone says, I don't vote. So everyone says, well, if you don't vote, then you're the reason that X, Y, or Z is elected. Well, I don't give a rat's ass who's elected. I don't vote because I don't wish to use the force of government to inflict my will upon others. And so we'll sidetrack here. I get to rabbit trail here in this live stuff. I don't have to keep it on track. And talk about voting and why I consider voting mob violence for this very reason. Because even if 5% of the population over there wants to do that, the other 95% are bound to be to the decisions that are made simply because they've given up their autonomy. They've given up their rights as an individual to this groupthink. And well, you may say, well, he got the majority of the votes in the county. But again, did he explicitly say, this is what I'm going to do? No. And even if 95% of the people in that area want to do that, the other 5% are forced to participate against their will simply because of an election. Voting is frickin' mob violence. And people say, oh no, it's not mob violence. I don't want anyone to have violence. Well, let me ask you this. So you elect a guy or gal because you agree with their platform. You agree with what they've said they want to do. Now, any who disagree, and first of all, let's even again, if it's a 95-5 deal, 5% of the population is still disenfranchised. If it's 52-48, it's even worse. So your guy gets elected, right? And you expect him to enforce what he said he wants to do. Well, if I disagree with it, what happens to me? I'm forced into agreeing with it, either through coercion or, in this case, now because Mayor Miller wants to have a place to eat that's near his home, I'm forced to pay more for my goods and services here. And I didn't vote for either one of the jackaloons. I don't want any of that stuff. I don't want, if they want to put restaurants in the mall, let the private entities do that, not government. That's not the place of government. See, the thing is, and again, we go back to this, what does government produce? Government produces absolutely zero. Well, actually, government does produce one thing. It produces violence. And that is the only thing it produces. So when you vote, what you're doing is you're saying, I choose for the government to force other people, the other, 52, 48, we're at 52, we win, yay! So we're going to force our 52%, we're going to force the other 48% to do what the hell we want them to do. And if they don't like it, we will inflict violence on them. It's like the tax thing. And again, I've got some secrets about that, not so secret, but and I've shared them in some of the other videos. Check out my video on becoming ungovernable and starving the beast. That you'll get some insight on that. But the thing is, we are the government then will come in and say, if you don't wish to do it, we'll jail you or worse. And if I don't want to go to jail, what happens? I get killed, right? And so voting is mob violence, because if you voted for that, you voted for all that to happen. It's the same thing with I got to tell you, as far as Let's Go Brandon, Joe Biden is concerned, the bombing in Afghanistan, the drone strike where they killed the 10 people, if you voted for Joe Biden, the blood's on your hand. Of course, if you voted for Donald Trump in the previous election and all the bombings that he did, the blood's on your hand. Same thing with Barack Obama. See, the blood was on my hands from the George Bush, because I voted back then. And I agonized over that. I cried over that. I've asked forgiveness for that. And I've stopped voting because of that. Now, so what can you do on the local level? This is what you can do. Right down the road from me, we have a place called Smiley's Flea Market. And you can probably get just about anything you want or need at Smiley's Flea Market. And it's all untaxed, because these people are selling, they're selling out at tables, and most of it is untaxed. I'm sure some of them actually are law-abiding citizens. But what I'm advocating is, yes, a black market. Go on Craigslist. And I know Craigslist is kind of screwy now because it's become, because of all the scams, it's become a little shady. But Craigslist, I'm selling my pig shares on Craigslist. Am I going to collect taxes on that? Lester Miller, no, I'm not. See, I don't give a fuck. I don't care about their shit. They can have it. But I'm not going to do that. Or find local growers and connect with them. Again, touting the CES, the community exchange system, where you can and community supported agriculture, where you can come together and you can purchase goods and services without using the fiat currency. And that's part of it too, that we've got to unplug from that. But on the local level, you can do that. You can start bartering with your neighbors. And it may seem like it's kind of a pain in the butt, and it's just because it's different. And we all balk at different things. So anyway, I'm going to land this thing because I am a tired puppy today, and I'm ready to go in and spend some time with my wife that I haven't been able to spend time with her like I would today. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Again, please subscribe to our channel. I don't mean to be begging, but it really helps, because I'm working right now on doing some product promotions, and the high number of subscribers will help me get more business, and so that I can make more money that I'm not paying taxes on. So until next time, I'll be back Monday. Oh, tomorrow I will be releasing the video on the Tapachi. I didn't even have a chance to check on it today, but I'm sure it's doing fine. I'll see how it's going tomorrow, and we'll see how it's going. But tomorrow, Monday, I'll be doing Monday's a morning love again. Oh, my granddaughter's on. That's sweet. Man, I love my grandkids. I have the best grandkids, not just Chastity, not just Tyson, but my little tater tot, Landry, and of course, Aiden. So, and then we have one that is no longer with us, but he's still my grandson. So anyway, we'll be back with more on that tomorrow, and some more morning love. But check us out. Check out our website, www.buckwheatfarmsmagic.com. If you're in the local area, if you're in the Macon area on a Friday night, we every other Friday night. It's the first and third Friday night, second and fourth Friday night of the every other Friday night. So we met last night. We'll be meeting again on the 22nd at Moonstruck Souls on Ingleside in Macon. We have a chaos magic meetup where we talk about chaos magic, about using your mind to create your reality. So check us out with that. Saturday nights, we'll be here every Saturday night doing the fireside chat. I'm looking for any musicians that want to come around and just hang out on a Saturday night and play the guitar, sing around the fire, whatever. Just hang out, and hopefully this will be kind of like a family deal, because again, we're no mask required. We won't check your medical records. We're just all about freedom. And that's the thing. That's where it is right now. There was someone was talking about today about how, in 2031, there was a meme about in 2031 about all these hoops you'll have to jump through, and you won't be able to drive all the way to the grocery store because you're out of your energy credits for your vehicle, and then you don't have the social credits to buy the things you need. Well, the answer to that is I reach into my locker, my smoke room, and pull out the pork that I've got, and I get to eat that and vegetables from my garden. But he pointed out that it was a decision that made they say it violates interstate commerce to grow your own foods, and I just said, look, if it ever gets down to the point where they're trying to rein me in that much, see, I believe in the many worlds theory of quantum physics, and that this is not the only reality, and that I am, as an energy being, incapable of being stopped. Quantum physics shows that energy will always exist. So I will always go forward, and I will exist in some iteration. And I really like this place. It's a cool place. Man, I love people. I love the taste of food. I love the sound of music. I love the smell of. I love the smell of my stinking pigs, even though they stink. I just love the sensations. I'm becoming more and more aware and of experiencing and loving the experience. But if that comes down to it, I'm just ready to flip over to the next iteration, because I pretty much want to Patrick Henry it. Give me liberty or give me death. If I can't be free, I don't want to be. So anyway, until next time, have a wonderful night. I love you. Glad you're here with us, and hope you enjoyed it. Namaste.